This episode of Twin Speaks contains spoilers.
Said that you got lost at sea and we couldn't find you, and you showed up in India.
Why India? Where did I
I don't know. Can you get to
from?
India? Can you get to India from here?
Say I was at the Bering Strait.
Do you even know where that is?
Yeah.
Bering.
Are you looking that up?
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
somewhere.
no. It's no. You'd have to go. Actually, you could get to the Bering Strait. We could say the Bering Strait. You fell asleep on a inflatable, a small boat.
An inflatable small boat.
And you floated all the way through the Bering Strait, trying to get to.
Move your mic away from you. You're fucking yelling into the microphone.
Am I? How am I yelling into it? I'm just talking
It was
normal.
like all of a sudden I was watching the levels and it went up to red for like 30 seconds.
I don't know how I did that though. I wasn't talking any louder. Is
You
it
were
still loud?
No, you were like leaning into it like this. Okay, so I was lost on the Bering Strait.
And you were trying to get to Wales, but not Wales, United Kingdom, Wales, Alaska.
I was gonna say, what's a Welsh accent sound like?
I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try either.
I tried to do a Russian
It's
one.
not how we have to start this.
No. I tried to
A
do
Welsh accent.
tried to do a Russian one in the car.
What? By yourself?
No, with
Oh,
Emily. And it sounded so bad. And then she just casually did one after, and it was so good.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
George is so good at accents, it's infuriating. I can't do Russian ones, though. I always
trying to think of a Russian phrase.
No, because I always fall back into, like, what I imagine Transylvanian would be like, I want to suck your blood. It's like not
Don't
Russian.
send me to the Kremlin. That was not bad.
But it's the inflection that you're doing.
I also
the-
like inordinately raise my shoulders when
Yeah,
I do it too.
I won.
Yeah, that's part of it. I won't.
Oh no, it's the KGB.
You. I don't. You sound like Christopher Walken. Oh no.
Oh no, Vladimir.
Oh no. Do not send me to the Kremlin.
You
Putin. I don't know what that accent was. I'm making my own.
Yeah, this will be the start of it.
Okay.
Anyway,
We're back.
October. What was it?
I don't know.
October 3rd was the last time I did one of these. Starting off with some lightning energy to really get
October 3rd, 2020.
Jesus.
When we did Guillermo del Toro
A thon.
Fest or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
Honestly, I didn't remember doing those. And we did the.
The Guillermo del Toro International Film Festival. Oh yeah, right.
Because if you look through it, we went fucking. We were on a pretty good streak of like one every week. And then.
Yeah, for 3 episodes.
No. If you go back all the way to like
Yeah, you're right.
January, December, we took a break off for holidays. And then we went from January every week, February every week.
Okay.
And then March
I'd
when
like to
COVID hit.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that we were on a good streak until COVID.
Yeah.
And then we did one episode in
July.
Yeah. Quarantine and review. I don't even remember doing this.
No,
one.
I don't remember
Was this
doing
one
that
you?
one.
You did this one maybe with Georgia.
What? Oh, maybe.
Oh, it says Andrew recap some of the things they consumed. Never mind.
Yeah.
Rain of Fire. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rain of Fire. Yeah, right.
We're recapping our recap right now.
I mean, we can recap some stuff that we've watched recently. Do you want to do that? And then get into the main.
Yeah.
The main.
Okay. Movie review.
No, I was going to say something with food, but
What?
the main.
The dish.
The dish. Yeah, main dish.
We're gonna dish on the main.
Yeah, not the
actually,
stories.
The
the
show,
main.
the show I've been watching, I just started watching it because like Emily's cousin is visiting right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we started watching Below Deck.
Oh, is that the?
It's a reality TV
yeah.
show that follows like a crew on a charter yacht,
Really?
and it is so weird.
What?
Yeah.
So like it just follows them doing.
No. So like they're like it follows them for a season. Like I'm assuming it'd be like summer or something.
Yeah.
And they're in Tahiti.
It's in the winter.
Yeah, and they're yeah, and so they're in Tahiti, and there's people that like charter them out to do like out trips and stuff like that. Can you pick that?
Yeah,
up,
it's
like,
picking up
around?
his funny little walk. Yeah, what's up, dude? All right. See ya. We've got to go back to watching the door.
Yeah, literally. Anyways, it's not that interesting. The more I'm talking about it, I was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not very good.
But is it like dramatic, or is it like
it's a reality
juicy?
TV show.
Yeah,
so it's just like it's that. It's
just is what it is.
Yeah, it's weird in the sense that they clearly like there was this guy, and he's the CEO of this a crypto thing called Cointopia.
Fuck yeah.
And his name's Charles Michael Yim.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the biggest douche on it. And like the thing that's weird about reality TV shows is that they get these people on it, and they have to sign something to say like, yes, they'll like you can show whatever you want.
Yeah.
It does not. This guy leaves a used condom on one of the things. It's like, and like whether it was actually used or if the producers like planted it to make it gross, I don't know. But
still,
he straight up like tries to have sex on like the top deck where they can like everybody can see, and then like, the crew are like watching a camera being like, she is not into it. Oh, it's really fucked. It's so weird. There's like a point where you're watching and you're like, wait, are they watching somebody get like sexually assaulted? And they're like, oh no, she's like into it. It's really
kinda.
odd.
Yeah. But then it's like, is she feeling like coerced because she's on TV? And
yes. I think they all are.
Yeah.
They just like put up with it because it's part of the show.
It's a bit like Big Brother though, right? Because like all of those, they all kind of.
But there's like with Big Brother, there's like it's a game show.
Yeah.
Like there's
maybe
there's
more
a goal. Like they're trying to make money.
More The Bachelor, because like those ones, you're like on the show because you're supposed to kind of like put out
thing too. Yeah.
So that's what you've
been
watching.
No, that's what I've watched in the last 2 days. I watched a lot of Criminal Minds.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Like a lot. Like I think I've watched the
How many
series
seasons?
twice.
Oh, really? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Huh,
It's my background show.
Oh. Yeah, right.
That's why we got that lockbox.
Oh my god.
I have a lockbox that's on my house because of Criminal Minds.
So if anybody's thinking about breaking in,
they have to know the code, and it's not somebody's birthday.
It's not 1, 2, 4.
It's not 1111.
It's 1, 1, 2, 2.
It's not my birthday, but it's your birthday.
Oh shit. Okay, well if you can figure that out, it's kind of a riddle.
I mean, you'd still have to know what my birthday is.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Oh, I was gonna
I don't
say.
want to talk about Criminal Minds.
Yeah. We watched. I just got rid of it. We were watching a few movies. We watched In Time. Have you seen that? That's that Justin Timberlake from ages ago. It's like 2011, where it's like time is the currency.
Right.
And it's like,
don't they have like bracelets or something that they
it's
have
like,
to like
it's like a digital clock on their arm.
Yeah, right.
And it's like everybody's just watching it because everybody's running out of time.
Cillian Murphy's in it. And
yeah, he's
Amanda
great. Seyfried. Yeah.
Seyfried. And Olivia Wilde. Oh dang.
Yeah, she's in it.
Matt Bomber.
Well, because everybody ages to 25, and then when you get to 25, you stop aging.
Oh.
So then like you still like. Because then your bracelet kicks in, so then you have like a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
So then you have to like do things to make time, and then so like working or whatever, or gambling. Gambling's like the big one, or this thing they call fighting.
What's fighting?
And it's like it's almost like arm wrestling. Oh. So they like link arms, and then they like you're basically draining each other's time. But then you're like kind of like fucking with them. So you're like. It's almost like a game of chicken.
Okay.
So you're like, I'm going to drain your time. Oh, psych. And then he like twists your arm, and then the other guy's like draining his time. But the only thing I hated about that was like they teased it for the entire movie. They're like, because Justin Timberlake's the main character. He's like, to the entire thing, he's like, my dad was really good at fighting. He's the best fighter. And everybody kept talking about how good his dad was at fighting. And he's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. And then at the very end, he kills a guy by doing it.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, this is it? It's just like arm
drains
wrestling?
the guy's time.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
And the guy that he does it to is like this gangster guy, and it's like he wouldn't die like that, man. Like the whole thing, he's like talking about how they show how tough this guy is. He just kills people randomly, and then he dies by doing that.
Oh.
The movie wasn't hard. It was
got
okay.
Like 30,
it was okay.
I saw it's got like 30-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But it was what I did like about it, and maybe the reason that people didn't like it as much is because it was everybody acting in the movie who like there's good actors in it. Everybody was committed to doing this like cheesy sci-fi,
right?
Overacting almost, which I appreciated about it. Nobody was like, there wasn't like one person going like, I'm actually going to do a good job.
Right.
Everybody was like, no, we're going over the top a little bit.
Right. We're shooting for a certain level.
Like Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried both had like goofy one-liners in like weird spots.
Yeah.
He's like almost dead. He's got like 5 seconds left. And he's like, and he would just say something. It's like, it's like almost dead. I couldn't remember any of them.
I was like, you made it seem like you were going to do the line.
You forgot.
Anyway, it wasn't bad.
Hilariously, it's got 6.7 on IMDb out of 10. 36% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
4.9 out of 5 on Facebook.
4.5?
4.9 out of 5.
Oh, what?
On Facebook. Facebook's review system, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that. If you go to Letterboxd, it's got 2.8 out of 5.
Sick.
Which I gave it a 3. So
the last post on In Time Movie on Facebook was in 2018, and it says, "It's time. In time." Well, it's 65% off today. I love when they randomly wish happy birthdays to the main the leads. Yeah.
If you go to Letterboxd,
you're right. It definitely is marketed like it's a Matrix type movie.
And I mean, there's barely any gun kind of stuff. There's barely any real action. There's a lot of running away. That's a big part of it. It's kind of like a chase movie because Cillian Murphy is a timekeeper.
Which means what?
It means that when people gain time in almost explicit ways. So all of a sudden he's given 100 years to live just by some random guy who has 100 years, who's a rich guy. And they're like, why did you get 100 years to live? Why do you have a century? And he's like, he gave it to me. And they're like, we don't believe you. So then they take it from him. So then the entire thing is him trying to get time back. And then it's almost like a Robin Hood movie / Bonnie and Clyde movie. Because then Amanda Seyfried, he kidnaps her, but then she joins him. Oh yeah, spoilers for this fucking 10-year-old movie, which was average. Anyway, it was fine. If you go to Letterboxd, so it's so many people making the joke of it's Justin time. It's
that's good.
It's I made a comment. I said if my friend Tim was in this, it'd be called Tim in Time. Just
they're gonna make a Tim the Toolman hour.
Yeah. Shout out Tim. My friend Tim.
I watched. Actually, I do remember some movies. I won't review it because I don't want to spoil it because it's actually still somewhat new. But I watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
It was really good because I was on a plane. Just arbitrarily, I wandered.
You were arbitrarily on a train.
Yeah. I was like, "Hey, this is a cool plane," and they're like, "Sir, you can't be here."
I can get on. Just anybody. So where are we going?
Really good. The thing with that movie though is what's crazy is that how does Daniel what's his name? What's the man's name? Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Not win every single Academy Award every single year.
Well, wasn't that movie the one where he was up for Best Supporting and Heath Stanfield? They were both up for Best Supporting Actor. Yeah, I think
Makes
so.
sense.
Yeah.
Heath Stanfield's really good in it. He's kind of like a scumbag, and you can look up the story of his character because he's based off a real guy, and so is Fred Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, because Fred Hampton's the Black Panther leader guy, right?
Yeah.
Or was.
He was in that area.
Vice
So, like,
president or something?
he
I can't
was
remember.
because he was leading it in Illinois. He was the chairman of the Illinois chapter
Oh,
of
yeah.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
And then Bill O'Neill is who Lakeith Stanfield plays, and he is the like informant for the FBI
Mm-hmm.
for that, and he ends up like head of security and stuff like that.
Right.
And like it's really good. The two of them are amazing. The Jesse, I think his name is Jesse Plemons, is in it. He's really
sick.
really great.
Jesse Plemons is great.
Martin Sheen is in it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really good.
Nice.
Like all the actors in this are so good, and it's such a great movie. And it ends like you can look up what happens to Bill O'Neill, but like he after like I guess it's like based loosely off this like interview that he did.
Yeah.
And after the interview airs, he like committed suicide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's insane. And I didn't know that. And like apparently like the story of this loosely is ties into like the trial of the Chicago 7, I think it's called, that was on Netflix. Which I've never seen, but somebody was telling me to watch.
Fred Hampton's in that, I think.
Yeah.
And that's played by
Obviously it's
Fuck,
not
I can't
it's
remember.
not like a shared universe or anything.
No,
Like it's
yeah.
like the same.
Wait, he's like a
He's
real
also
person.
like only
yeah.
21 or something.
What,
like
in
he's-
that?
No, like that's his like when he dies.
Oh, he was only 21.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
I think it's something crazy like that. Yeah, he dies when he's 21. I didn't realize he was so young
Yeah, right.
throughout that movie. Obviously, because like Dan Kaluuya is like in his 30s. And then I watched what movie with Denzel and Training Day,
Mm-hmm.
which is so good.
Yeah.
And I kicked myself for like not seeing it sooner. But holy
I
shit,
didn't know that
movie
you
is
had
amazing.
seen it. Yeah.
I think I've just like seen it. Like I've seen bits of it because I recognize a lot of it. Oh, sorry.
Just a little bit, yeah. I'm just going to leave all that in.
Okay. I recognize like a lot of it, but like that was the first time I've like sat down and watched it. I'm trying to look up what other movies I saw because I watched like 4 on the plane.
Well, that's why I've been trying to keep track more on
I should.
Letterboxd. The last couple months I've been trying to keep track. So like I saw A Quiet Place Part 2.
Right.
I
I
really
did too.
liked.
Actually,
Yep.
I did that as well.
Really
on the
liked.
plane.
We can just like quickly go through these like because I kept track. We watched Escape from New York with
haven't seen that.
fucking what's his name again? Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
So good.
He's played Snake. Is his
Yes.
character's name? Yeah.
Snake Pilskin.
Yeah, Pilskin.
It's like.
That sounds a lot like Foreskin.
Train to Busan. Really, really, so good. Like,
who directed that?
let me click on it. I forgot now. Hold on. It was directed by
It's a zombie movie, right?
Yeon Sang-ho.
Okay.
It's a zombie movie, so it's like, yeah, honestly, so good because the second one just came out, I think, last year called Peninsula. It's
Right.
like a sequel,
Yes,
but it's not directly, related. I really want to see that one too. Train to Busan is so good. It's just like super cool zombie movie where it's like there are things start like kicking off, and then this guy and his young daughter, like get onto a train, and then full on kicks off while they're on the train.
Cool.
And it's going and it has to keep going because like they picked up basically the people who are zombies at the first stop, but then they have to keep skipping all the stops because they've all been compromised. So they're going straight to Busan because everybody's telling them like, telling the train conductor that it's safe here, like you got to get here, and then they don't really know if that's the case because then nobody starts answering them.
Right.
So good. Ending is definitely for a action zombie movie a lot more substance than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
Really good.
Wow.
Really good ending. I watched Bo Burnham Inside. Thought it was pretty good.
I've heard such mixed things about
Yeah.
it.
If you're honestly, I think if you have no attachment to Bo Burnham as a person / comedian,
Right.
it's gonna be meaningless to you. Honestly, it's like, I don't know. I understand the point of view of people thinking it's a little like he's trying to be. I was stuck inside as well during COVID, and I was having to, not go anywhere. And oh man, it's so hard.
Yeah.
I totally understand that point of view of people saying that's a little fake.
Right.
And I didn't personally get that feeling. I thought it was quite well done and believable. I don't know if that was the case. I thought it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Oh, nice.
We watched Mystic River during camping. Remember that? Oh, were you there for that?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was much different than I was expecting.
Oh, we watched... I had never seen the Prestige. So we watched that. Really, really good. We watched the remake of Straw Dogs.
I don't know even what that is.
Straw Dogs, it's like an old school like act or thriller movie, I guess you would call it.
Show me the picture.
It's called or here's a little write up. LA screenwriter David Sumner relocates with his wife Amy to their hometown in the Deep South. There, while there, tensions build between them. A brewing conflict with locals becomes a threat to them both. So it's like they move back to like her hometown, and so that he can write this movie that he's working on.
Right.
And then the locals there are like so stuck in their ways, and they start like kind of bullying him and bullying her because she had like a relationship with this like one guy. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend it if you're like a teeny bit squeamish, because there's some pretty like explicit things that happen in that movie. In terms of sexual assault, so that I just could not watch. It was pretty, like, obviously it's a movie, but it's like
pretty fucked
man.
up.
It's really hard to watch. Anyway, yeah.
Speaking of squeamish,
Yes.
the reason we're doing this episode,
Yeah.
it's a really long preamble.
That's not bad. 20 minutes.
We're doing The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Capital THE,
No.
capital S. Suicide. Capital S. Quad.
Colon.
It is so confusing.
Yeah.
Looking things up for this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
And you have to put in the.
Mm-hmm.
I like it's so like Google must be so like when you type in anything on Google and like you miss the in the title, it just is like, did you mean this? And you're like, I did actually. Thank you.
Thanks
For this, it just sends you the other one, and I don't want to know what's the other one. Anyways,
so this is technically a sequel, right?
it is and it isn't. Though.
I don't know. So the reason that I think it's a sequel is because they have five characters
Yeah.
from the previous
wait.
movie.
Yeah.
So Harley Quinn's in it.
Yeah.
Rick Flag,
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller,
Yeah.
Boomerang,
Boomerang. I think that's it.
and I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Off the top of my head, yeah.
But there makes no reference to the previous movie, done by David Ayer back in, I want to say like 2017, maybe. I can't remember. Absolutely no reference to it, even though these characters are in that movie. Yeah. So I don't know if it's supposed to be just like,
This movie is a standalone.
Yes.
It is self-contained. If you have never seen Suicide Squad, sans the, you'd be fine. Because like you don't need to know anything about.
No,
you don't need to know anything about anything in this movie.
If you have a tertiary comprehension of Harley Quinn, that's it.
You don't even need to know that.
But that's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
you just
like,
you
you
can
need
go in just
almost nothing to go into this.
Yeah.
And I think on its own, at first glance, that is why this movie is so good.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because like you could just show up to this movie and like not know anything about what even universe this is in, or if it's DC or Marvel, and you'd be fine.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's why it's as well reviewed as it is, because you don't need to have 9 or 10 movies worth of knowledge to go into this, or have seen any of the other shitty movies.
Yeah. It's funny. I think it as successful as it is on, say, like Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, it's funny like following it on Twitter, because I think it is a little divisive. Like people love to shit on it. I think because it's another one of these like big budget whatever superhero movies, and people are just tired of them. However, I do just think it's a well-made movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is a certain community, and like it rhymes with Reddit and Twitter. I don't know why I chose the F, but they hate. Like I think there's like as much as people like I always think of it like the console wars. Like people always shit on like if you have a
sure.
PlayStation, you hit shit on Xbox, but that's like non-existent anymore, and people don't really care.
No.
Because they're just similar enough. Yeah. But with DC versus Marvel, there is like a very specific community of 20 to 21-year-olds who just like to try and shit on.
Yeah. Just because it exists.
It is. Yeah, exactly. This movie is very good.
Yeah.
And people will still find ways to shit on it because it's just DC.
But
So I would say, like, going into it, if you haven't seen this, don't listen to this podcast because we will spoil it.
Yeah.
But don't look at those. Don't look at the audience reviews for this at all. Mm-hmm. Well, this is like one of the few cases where like don't. Yeah.
If you're looking for broadly speaking, pretty fun action movie.
Yep.
That's actually pretty funny. Surprisingly funny.
Gory.
Pretty gory.
Yeah.
Actually, be warned for that because I wasn't expecting that, and it was a little like there's a bit where I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We talked about this before the movie. Is that we both went into it pretty blind. I think we both seen the first trailer and maybe just some random promotional stuff that shows up on like YouTube and stuff. Yeah. But we both went into it real blind.
But if you're that kind of person that isn't really keeping up with trailers, if you're not keeping up with promos, if you're just looking for a sort of like I said, fun movie like that, and you're just like, I just want my movie theater money well spent because you're going back to movie theaters. Yeah, go for this because
this is not available online yet.
Not yet.
For Canada, no.
For
it released day and date with HBO Max.
Yeah, which they're trying to do more of.
I spent like the week leading up to when we went trying to find it in Canada, and it's still not up, and it doesn't sound like it will be up anytime soon.
I only just noticed that the Green Knight, you can buy it online.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good call because we should do that. I was actually just looking up him, like the director, but we could also do.
I would love to do him because he's got some real bangers.
Dev Patel also too.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. So moving forward, spoilers, but what did you think?
I loved it. Fully. I thought it was so great.
Yeah.
I think that the gore, as much as I was not expecting it, they within like literally the first 2 minutes, not
2
even,
minutes,
they kill that bird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was gross. And then you're like, oh, actually, like in hindsight, you're kind of like, well, that kind of does set the tone.
Yeah.
It's just like needless violence throughout this movie, but it works for what it is, I think. And it, like you said, like it's a pure action movie that is super dry as far as being funny. And I think Georgia said this like when we were leaving, is that it does take you a bit to like get into it, to like not get into it as in like it or not, more just understand where the movie's going.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, you have to adjust to how the type of humor as well as the type of violence.
Well, yeah, and it's almost
because the story isn't confusing or anything like that.
It's not even really that complicated either.
It's not.
And the way that it tries to make it a little bit more complicated is that it tries to do the half an hour ago, 5 minutes ago.
I love that. Actually.
Which I was, it took a very simple story, simple in a way, what it was trying to do, and just like added a little bit more depth to it.
I totally agree.
Which I totally thought was fine.
One of the things I was listening to a podcast like after, and they were talking about the pacing of this movie, and it's paced really well, but only because I think in large part because of the like stop and starts with like the flashbacks and stuff. Because if it's just linear the whole way, it does get boring.
Yeah,
it does just kind of get like you're just following these people doing action stuff and that's it. But because it jumps around, it kind of shows you different perspectives and stuff in the best way possible.
Yeah,
it works so much better.
But
if you take those out and you play it linearly, it's like really dry. And it's not nearly as interesting.
Yeah,
because like there's the bit at the very beginning and where you see the first team go to the beach. And Rick Flag and Harley are there. And like I knew that there was others on the team, but I wasn't like questioning it.
Well, because that was all part of like, again, the promo stuff. Is
Exactly.
like they're teasing Nathan Fillion's in this. What's his name? Pete Davidson. Like all these guys are supposedly in this movie.
And so when all of them start to die, and then you don't even realize that there's like this second team, and then they do a flashback to before the second team to like them recruiting Idris Elba.
Yeah.
You're like, that to me is like so much more interesting to be like jumping around like that versus they could have just gone like, okay, they're getting Michael Rooker character Savant and Idris Elba at the same time. It would have been super boring. So the whole like jumping around bit is so great.
I think so.
I loved every single actor in this. I think they're all so great, and like you are drawn into all of them, even the ones that die. Like initially, you're sort of like into them. Like Nathan Fillion's character dies horribly.
Oh my god, that was
him
maybe
like
the
rolling
toughest
around
one,
like screaming and stuff, and you're like, oh, that sucks. Like I at that point didn't really connect to that character at all, but him like dying like that, I was like so bummed. I was like, that's fucking sucks.
Even Mongol or whatever.
Yeah, she's on fire.
She's literally on fire.
I think
she's like screaming.
I think that
and stuff.
she doesn't show like when they do the pan through, they show her body again, but then they do like a third pan through when they following Harley, and she's not there.
Yeah, I did notice that.
So I don't know if she like if that was just like an editing thing or if that's intentional. If she shows up later, because she is an intergalactic alien that is the daughter of Mongol.
Oh, really?
Who is like a Superman villain.
Sure.
So like,
maybe it is.
Chances are she'll
come back.
She survived. Yeah, she'll come back.
I think they do that on purpose. But yeah, I think especially all those characters, and then they add I forgot what his name was now. They made a big deal about what his name was. Remember that one character that dies and he was like friends with the polka dot guy? What was his name? Marvin or something?
Marvin or yeah, it's something I can look it up.
Yeah,
like,
even that guy, he was like the bus driver.
He's the bus driver, and they make a point of like he has a gun at one point, and they take the gun away from him. He like literally doesn't do anything but carry the explosives all the time.
And they're like making a big deal because he died, and they're like, "Why was he here? What? I didn't know he was still with us."
Yeah, and they didn't know who he was. Milton,
yeah.
They're really funny.
But even that kind of stuff, I think they did a good job of being like, "Oh yeah, like." I know he didn't even really have any lines. Yeah. He just was there, and he was sort of, it was fine. Like,
I was sad when, well, honestly, like, I'm looking at this picture, and it's like a picture of like everybody that dies. Boomerang, because he was so great in the first, like the
people really like
Suicide Squad, because he is legitimately an Australian actor, and he like plays the douchey Australian, really well. Savant, just because it's Michael Rooker, I think, because there's like this cult following for him. I wanted to see what I don't know anything about Blackguard.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I wanted to see Pete Davidson do something, but I love that Pete Davidson just plays
Pete Davidson.
Like Pete Davidson, he's just a super skinny, weird looking guy who's like toying with the security guard when he's like grabbing his gun. But I don't know like what his character background is. Like
him really sitting on the plane was really funny.
Well, he thought he was sitting next to a werewolf.
Yeah. He's like, no, I think he's a dog. I'm gonna guess Afghan Hound. He's not a dog, man.
I love Nathan Fillion in this when he's like helping him put on the seatbelt. This is really funny too. And
like,
and then the fact when they were like trying to figure out what TDK stood for.
He's like, what does that mean? He's like, that's
just my name. It's just my name. He's like, it's TDK. And then what did they compare it? I forgot what they compared it to, but like, it's so stupid that he was just so committed to TDK. And then when they find out it's the detachable kid. And his arms detach from his body, but they don't go any faster.
Yeah.
So it's like walking speed from him to the bad guys. And then when they get up there, he's just kind of like there's no weight behind the punches. It's just getting like slapped by a hot dog. Like he's just like.
But then he's just standing there.
Yeah, like he's just in the open. There's no shit that he gets shot. Yeah, he's just standing in the open, which is weird. Like, why wouldn't he just like kneel down behind that rock that he was behind and then detach?
But he did it the other way around.
Yeah,
he like jumped up and he's like, "Here I am, boys."
Yeah. What did you think about Rick Flag's death. I guess we're going through deaths. But
Yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed. I like him.
I did too.
I didn't realize how tall he was.
He's a big boy.
Because, like, he was standing next to John Cena and Idris Elba, and I think they're both quite tall.
Yeah, Matt leaned over during that scene because it's when they get out of the
van.
The van.
Yeah.
And Matt, who we went with, leaned over and he was like, "Ooh, that's a couple of chunky boys or something like that." And they were. I didn't realize how tall they all were.
I did not know that. Yeah.
And Rick Flag, when he's on his own,
yeah,
he's huge. Like he's clearly like what's his name, Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah,
has put on muscle for this role.
He looks bigger than he did in the last
significantly bigger.
Yeah.
And then you put him next to John Cena, who has literally like watermelons for biceps. And he looks like a tiny human. And then the benefit of like Idris Elba is that he's constantly wearing gear in this movie.
Yes.
So like he looks big throughout the movie. But I really liked Rick Flag in this movie. I think he was really great. He has the like actual costume too. Like he's wearing his traditional yellow, which I really liked.
Also thought he was great. Like
he was really good. The fact that he like legitimately fought Peacemaker too. Like he stood up to him and like instead of just going hand to hand, he was like using stuff in his environment, like hitting him over the head with that like toilet and stuff.
Yeah.
And then for him to die the way they did with that line is so good too.
Yeah.
He says like Peacemaker, like what a joke or something.
Yeah.
That's really
which is great.
Yeah. Polka Dot Man dying.
I looked
really
up
sad.
Everybody's height.
Yeah.
Idris Elba is 6'1".
Pretty tall for Hollywood actors.
John Cena's 6'1", and then Joel Kinnaman is 6'2".
Oh, wow.
So it's like they look taller than they are, but that's still quite tall.
No, that's really tall considering like the conspiracy theory in Hollywood is that everybody's short.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet? It was like the reason that everybody likes Adam Driver is because he's the first like Hollywood actor post something that's over 5'8".
It's true. You think about it, like what's his face? Tom Cruise is like 5'5"
or something. He's little. He's really
small.
little.
George Clooney, not tall.
Yeah.
Al Pacino,
very short. Robert De Niro,
short. Let's just go through Casino.
Goodfellas.
Who's the other guy?
I always forget what
the
his
one
name
that's
is.
also in Home Alone.
He talks like this.
Yeah, that was really good. That's right. He's also really short. He's the shortest of all of them. He actually only might be Tom Cruise height.
I
don't know.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm going to look up? I'm not going to look up Goodfellas. I'm going to look up Home Alone. Because he was in Home Alone.
He is in Home Alone. Yeah. Apparently he plays the cop at the beginning.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. He goes in the house. I haven't
seen Home Alone in so long. Yeah, it makes sense.
Fucking, why is he not on the main cast? Are you serious? I gotta scroll down all the way. Fucking, where is he? What the fuck's his name?
I'm gonna remember.
Joel Pesci. He's last on this list. Yeah. Joel Pesci.
Joel Pesci height. Are you saying Joel?
I accidentally did, yeah.
You said it twice, though.
Did I?
Yes.
I meant to say Joel. Pesci height in feet. Ooh, 1.63. He's 5'4".
Okay, now look up Tom Cruise. Because what's hilarious to me is that they might be close in height. But Joe Pesci, like they don't hide Cruise? Joe Pesci's height, or they hide Tom Cruise.
Feet. 5'7"?
That seems high.
That seems high.
Yeah. How much of that is hair?
Oh, John Travolta is trending. Why?
Probably.
Height in feet. 6'2".
John Travolta.
He has a son named Jeff.
Jeff Travolta.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why does he look like Justin Bieber?
He was like, I love that everybody calls me JT. My son be called JT. That's not a good John. I don't know what John Travolta sounds like. It's been too long.
Hey, no, that's not.
Just thinking of Grease.
Yeah, that was actually.
Grease lightning. I don't remember anything else in that movie.
Hey, I'm greasing over here.
Yeah. Watch out.
There's grease on the floor.
It's because me to slip everywhere.
I don't remember what he sounds like in that.
I don't know either. I just know like 1950s greaser. Hey, I'm greasing here.
Watch out. What are we talking about?
Polka Dot Man.
Oh yeah, that was sad.
I really liked him. He was so good through that. I'm so glad that he's like one of those like James Gunn mainstays because he's been like every single one of James Gunn's movies. Same with
his brother
Nathan Fillion, his brother, and
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. I think actually Nathan Fillion and Michael Rooker are the only ones that have been in every one of them. But him, and I don't remember his name now. Him and his brother, have been in like most of them.
Yeah.
He's so great. He's so great in this movie. He
really
plays this like meek character so well with like the perfect level of like dry, sad humor. And then but you get attached to him because he's doing the job. Like he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's trying to save the day. He's helping. He's like part of that crew, and then he dies in the worst way possible.
Well, and I think they even take his character from being sort of this like kind of joke character that
he still is kind of
why
jokey,
he's even
though.
there is kind of just like whatever, and then they like turned it into this like kind of pretty gruesome, like how he's like has this virus and he like starts bubbling up and like it's like pretty
he has to
gory.
The word they use like dispel it or something
Yeah.
twice a day.
Yeah.
And then, so through this movie, I'm trying to figure out like if he's done it or not. But I guess like if he uses the power, then
That's
that
part of
counts
it.
as it.
Yeah.
So he like is constant. Like later in the movie, he's like constantly doing.
Well, he does dispel it one time.
He does dispel it one time, and then he starts to get it again, and then he does it off screen. I think.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. I think they just go like, yeah, you've seen it already. We don't need to show it again.
But I've seen that character in some Batman stuff, like comic stuff.
Yeah.
But again, he's kind of like, he's kind of just one of those like B-list rogues gallery characters, like Kite Man or like Calendar Man and stuff. Who makes an appearance in this?
Yeah, that's
by his brother.
James Gunn's brother. Yeah.
When he just calls him a bitch or a pussy. I leaned over and I was laughing so hard at that because it didn't match anything in this movie.
No.
And he's just calling him like, he's just like ragging on him. He's not even doing an accent or anything. He's just like calling him a bitch. Yeah, it's so funny.
And then they like pan to the weasel and he's like licking the window, which George thought was very funny.
It's really funny.
Cackling over.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
The way that weasel looked was really funny.
Yeah.
Like they didn't try and like hide the fact that it was clearly just a middle-aged man wearing a capture suit.
Yeah.
Because
that's
even the
James
way
Gunn's
that
brother
hips look, and like the hips looked, it just looked so funny.
Just like a schlubby,
schlubby is a perfect way to describe how this weasel was.
Yeah.
I don't know like anything about.
No, I don't know either. I was gonna look that up, but it was like how he died right away. It was so funny. He's just like, did nobody check if he could swim?
And so that's
he's a weasel.
That's another thing I really liked about this movie is that like, despite the fact that it's run by Amanda Waller, who's supposed to be this like cutthroat, like best at her job, type person, her team is like not perfect.
Yes.
And so I think that lends itself, like it helps this movie so much more that there is like cracks in that team. And like they don't get exposed like all the time, but like one very important plot point, and then the rest of it is just like, oh, like nobody checked if he could swim. And there was another one like they didn't check if Bloodsport, so Idris Elba's character, was afraid of rats. Yeah. And it's just like little stuff like that makes the movie so much more interesting, that it sets it up to be like, okay, we can have things happen and people won't question it. Yeah. Because we know that the team isn't perfect. Yeah. The team and Amanda Waller's team. And then the big plot point being that she gets hit over the head with a golf club. Yeah. To like stop them from, because she's going to stop them from saving the city.
Well, that's like the thing. It's like her weakness is that she like fully believes that whatever she's doing is the greatest thing, and like she's so strong to her conviction to a fault that it would have just cost. Well, like with them alluding to it costing the planet, because what's his name, Starro the Conqueror, was just gonna like destroy and kill everybody and take everybody hostage and whatever if they didn't do anything, or at least try to do something. And she was like, no, it's gonna be my way, has to be my way. She was gonna do it, and then they were like, well, no, we can't. allow her to.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and it because there's definitely a point where like they're not like you can tell that they're not gonna die that way, but you don't know for sure because they've killed off so many people already.
But that's
like Rick Flag dies, and so there is that element of like, well, like he hasn't shied away from killing people in this movie already, so like there's that chance and stuff. So it does like. Again, another like good thing about the way that this movie is like written and directed is that it does still have you at the edge of your seat the whole time as far as like characters go. Like you still aren't 100% sure who's going to die and who's going to live. The only maybe guarantee is that Harley Quinn would live.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because I thought the shark guy was going to die.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's basically the Hulk.
I think so.
Dumb and hungry.
Yeah, because the Hulk is like they sort of allude to him being in there. You know, Bruce Banner's actually control, especially like the later in the comics. He's like fully the Hulk. Yeah, he like, controls both sides.
Like, Doctor Hulk or whatever it's called.
But like in the movies, he's less in control. But yeah, this is basically he's the Hulk because he even does the jumping thing where he like jumps from the ground to the big Starro guy. Like pretty much, that's a good way of describing it.
He's sick. He's like, and I think he's much more interesting in the sense that like he's smart. He's King Shark. Like he is the what do they say? He's like the ancestor of.
They
the
think
shark
he's
god
the
or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
the descendant of whatever the shark god was.
And so, but he is intelligent in the sense that he like was learning Spanish at one point, and they were like talking about that. But dumb in the sense that maybe he has like the maturity of a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So he's like making the like little like explosive
into a person,
or
he's trying to read because he thinks that makes him look smart. But the book's upside down.
So he is like somewhat intelligent, but just like not in the execution. But it does make him more interesting in the fact that like he is somewhat invulnerable.
Yeah.
Except to those like alien fish things.
Yeah.
And that he's super strong.
Yeah.
But he needs to be like basically told where to go and what to do and stuff
controlled
like
at all times. Yeah.
I liked him a lot, and like that is a good balance on a character that could be easily like overpowered.
Oh, or just throwaway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it could be just James Gunn has King Shark as like a fan service thing.
Yeah.
And then done nothing with.
Yeah. Which they make a mention of early on that he's like the strongest member of the team because they're gonna kill him.
But he's also invulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah. He tries to eat Ratcatcher 2.
Yeah.
And so they're just gonna kill him, and then Amanda Waller stops them and is like, well, he's the strongest one. And they do need him later in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because he ends up kind of being one of the only ones that, like,
does any damage.
On.
As well as Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, really cool.
It was so sad.
Yeah.
He just died. Georgie's she's like, oh, that sucks.
I did too. I was actually genuinely bummed when he died.
Yeah, me too.
But I really liked him. He was, like, one of my favorites in this.
Yeah. I thought Idris Elba was really, really great.
But that arc is Deadshot.
Yes, I do think that they went, oh, we're not going to replace Deadshot, have Idris Elba replace Will Smith, rather, but we're going to have Bloodsport replace Deadshot.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe the thought process.
Because the motivation for Bloodsport is identical to Deadshot, where he's like trying to do it for his daughter.
Yeah.
And like they're both very like they're good at what they do. They're
trained,
sort of like they're on the edge type thing,
thinking about giving it up because it's not
but
really.
Ultimately, like they get drawn into the team part of things. Yeah.
Because they're leaders. Yeah. Like that was the thing with Deadshot too. He's like a big time leader as well. And
so, with that said, though, I don't think it made a difference.
No,
I think Idris Elba is Idris Elba. He is a accomplished actor and very good at what he does. He doesn't need to be what? What'd you say?
I said he's Knuckles.
He's Knuckles, yeah. He's Knuckles now.
Now he is.
But it didn't need to be Will Smith. Mm-hmm. And Idris Elba does just play Idris Elba in this, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that pulls away from it at all. Like, he's very good in it.
Yep.
And so it's not, like, distracting that it's not Will Smith either. And, like, honestly, Will Smith wasn't, like, crazy good in that first one anyway, so like it's not like it made a difference whether he had to be in it
whether or not that was a directing choice to have him so subdued or self-serious
or if it was
whatever
just edited that way. Who knows?
I don't know.
We'll never know. But
I know
Yeah, but like I really liked him in this. I thought he was cool.
Yep.
He's an interesting-ish character too, like very general, like just kind of basic army man type thing. But he's like special
but he can
forces
sort of
and
teleport
stuff.
guns to himself.
Yeah, he's got like cool tech.
I like that
cool helmet.
They don't really, and maybe they should have. I don't know, but for me, it was fine. Just them being like, yeah, look at he just has the gun now. It just teleports to him. It's like, well, where's it coming from? And they're like, I don't know.
He has those like and they show it later on because
then he's
those,
looking
like,
for it too, and he's like lost it.
They're like cartridges.
Yeah,
that he like pulls off, and they like turn into a gun.
It's almost like a transporting or
like,
transforming thing.
Yeah, and like throughout the movie, you see him with those cartridges on, but they don't really make any play until the end where he's fighting Starro.
But again, I think that's more or less the thing that people take these movies so seriously, and then it becomes like so volatile to be like, well, they don't do anything. It's like, well, yeah, but it's like that's one of the they're not explaining it because it's just the way it is. That's just how it is. You have to
suspend disbelief,
of course,
with any movie.
Yeah,
and like this one, I think I think this was something that James Gunn does well in Guardians of the Galaxy as well, is that you can leave it up for interpretation. Yeah. You don't have to explain how things are done, as long as you leave them open in a way that people can interpret what it is. Like you can have like he probably has a very good idea of what it is, puts it on screen, and then goes like, people will just figure it out.
Yes.
Or I don't need to spend time explaining this, as long as there is a somewhat connectable
visual
reason. Yeah.
And I think indicator
that makes more sense than people just going, well, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work that way. It's like it's a
who cares?
Comic book movie. Who cares? There's a giant star. Yeah, like a starfish. So like it doesn't matter.
It's like him. All of a sudden, he has his helmet, and the helmet's really cool.
He
and then
pulls the helmet off and puts the helmet on like multiple times in this movie, and at no point are you like, well, where do you put the helmet?
Yeah,
it just compacts. Like
it kind of sucks that these movies have to be almost like talked about in a way that it's like, well, just stop taking it so seriously, or like, who cares? But it's like it because there's so many of them. Yeah, I think people just have to be sort of reminded that like there's no reason. Just who cares? Like if it's a movie, it's suspend your disbelief, turn your brain off, and just enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, I think that's one thing that James Gunn continues to prove that he is that he's just a really good, really capable filmmaker. Yeah, he makes great movies that are so tight and
that's the thing,
well formed. He has good ideas that are well put on, screen or whatever. And I think that this is just another one of those movies.
I agree. I think the way that this movie excels the most is by being a standalone. Yes. I think the fact that you can go in this and leave without knowing anything. Yeah. Is really where it shines, because like you shouldn't have to. And there's so many characters in this. It could get super overwhelming trying to figure everybody out, but at no point do you need to, because they kill off half or more than half the team right away. You don't need to know anything about those guys. You just need to see who they are, and it's more showing who they are than anything. Yeah. And so, and like obviously that's a big part of movie making, is show don't tell. Yes. What do you think though that like, so one of the things I know that Deadshot got shit on and Will Smith got shit on a bunch was that he never wears the helmet. Yeah. And the helmet's cool. Yeah. Bloodsport wears the helmet a lot. Yeah. Like it makes him look sick. And same with we haven't really talked about John Cena at all, but oh yeah. It makes him look cool. It's a cool like super serious mask that he's wearing, and
because it's kind of got like a skull on the bottom of it.
And it's clearly like a man who takes himself much too serious made this helmet, and I think it lends to the character quite well, because you look at everybody else in this movie, and like Polka Dot Man's just wearing like a beanie with goggles, and Harley's wearing like a shitload of makeup. Rick Flag's not wearing anything. Yeah. Peacemaker's just wearing a toilet. Yeah, toilet seat. Whatever. Yeah. So it lends to that character, and again, like part of just the way that this movie is, all these characters are individuals. Yes. They're not a team, and then they made the individuals. They went, here are the characters, and we're pulling them into a team, which is the way it should be. That's the way it's done in the comic. Yeah, yeah. Peacemaker. I
thought Peacemaker was funny.
He was so good. I love John Cena so much. He's so great.
Yeah, I think he was really funny. There's that like that meme of like understood the assignment. That one that he like I think he just understands what his like as an actor in this movie was, and it was just to be sort of funny, just self-serious, kind of, well, not even kind of, just a fuckhead. Like he's been told by Amanda to make sure that hard drive doesn't make it basically, and is willing to like kill all these people to do it, even though that's the wrong thing. And like they all sort of have that conscience,
and that at the core of that character is exactly what the character is.
But him being pretty funny,
he's
and
so good in this, like,
super competitive with Bloodsport, was
which
cool.
I really like too. And there was that scene where he kills the we find out later that they're like rebels and they're the good guys, but he kills the one and he hits him in the shoulder, and Bloodsport goes like, doesn't count, wasn't an instant kill or something like that, and he's like, well, it's expanding bullets, and he's like, still doesn't count, and he's like, it counts if it's fucking sick or something like that, and he's like, he's right. That I think is so great because again, like that is the least serious that character is, what like Bloodsport was mostly in this movie, but John Cena throughout this movie was that. He makes jokes about sucking dicks if he has, or eating dicks, and then he talks about like how the starfish could be a butthole. It's like serious, but it's not serious. He does not take himself too serious.
He's just a fuckhead. He's just like just kind of stupid, just like blindly
follows whatever he needs to. He's pointed in a direction type thing where like there is a conscience to King Shark. Especially with like the friend thing. Peacemaker doesn't have that.
No.
And like it's shown by the fact that he is standing over top of Ratcatcher 2, and even though she's like giving him the hard drive, he's still gonna kill her.
Which I thought she was awesome.
She was really great.
She was great.
I don't really know that much about that actor.
No, I don't either. I thought her character was really cool, like her superpower and like her little like friend, the little rat. I forgot the name now. Yeah, Sebastian. There's like 5 minutes into showing him, and George and I to each other was like, looks like Scooter. Like imagine Scooter.
There's the bit where they're like, is that rat waving at me? And he goes, it appears he is.
He wants to be your friend. He's like, why would I want to be friends with a rat? Why do I want a leaf? He wants to give you a leaf. It's like, why do I want that?
So the comparison is obviously between him and The Rock as just like actors. And I think the biggest difference between the two, they are so similar in like a lot of ways. Same like trajectory, both like wrestlers and basically bodybuilders, glorified bodybuilders, to acting, producing, whatever. Because he is a producer, I think, on Peacemaker series. Him and James Gunn.
Yeah, right. Because now has his own series coming up.
Yeah. So, but the one differentiating thing I think that he has going for him is that he does not do a lot of movies where he is taking himself too seriously.
No.
Where The Rock has kind of transitioned into that almost. Like, he is a guy in all these movies, but is a character who is like confident and charismatic and is almost exclusively that. And he can be funny, but it's not self-deprecating. Where I think with John Cena is that he is 100% that in this movie. He is not taking he as an actor is not taking himself too seriously, but a character is way serious.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's what I really liked about that character. He was also in Cock Blockers or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And he's so good in that too.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen that in the end.
He's really funny in that.
He was in Trainwreck, right?
He is in Trainwreck.
Yeah, right.
And really good in that too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I really like John Cena.
Yeah, he's so good.
Funny, yeah.
He's great.
Really great character. It's cool to have sort of a foil to Bloodsport, where it's like Bloodsport, but if Bloodsport had like no brain, basically. Like just blindly followed.
Well, it's funny they even made that joke about him being Bloodsport because they like introduced Bloodsport as like
but they give him the same.
They say exactly the same, and he's like, "What do you?" That's just, do you not know what you just did?
Me.
He's like, you're just describing me.
He's like, yeah, but I'm you, but better. And then Taika Waititi makes an appearance in this.
Yeah, as Ratcatcher 1.
And I thought it was him at the beginning, and then like later they show more of him, and you're like, holy shit, yeah.
I had looked
I didn't know
up who was in this movie, and he showed up. So the only reason that I knew it was him is because I I had Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
It didn't. I don't even think I saw what the character's name was. I just saw that he was in the movie.
I had
So
heard.
then they showed him. I was like, oh, there he is. Yeah,
Now that we're saying that, I actually thought I had heard a rumor that he was the Starro voice, but I don't think Starro has a voice outside of the actors he takes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you think of Starro as a villain?
Well,
There's a couple of villains in this.
Yeah, I guess you could say the one like political guy who takes over, the attractive one, and then like the general who's like kind of who's the super corrupt, and you could even say Amanda Waller is more of a foil, less than an antagonist. Yeah, you can move it. It's fine.
My back's starting to hurt.
Yeah. Like that. But I thought Starro as like the villain. Was good. I like that they were like, we don't really know anything about him. Yeah. But fucking what's his name? The Thinker.
The Thinker. Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of
something Capaldi. No, I thought Louis Capaldi.
But his last name's Capaldi.
Is it
Peter Capaldi?
Peter Capaldi. Yeah.
He's really good in it too. He's so good in this.
Yeah, he's great.
He's like also super like dry, funny as well. So I really liked him. But yeah, I like the Starro as like because like these comic book movies need like a big villain that they need to like team up for. Yeah. And you don't really get the like team up in this. You get them as a team taking him out. Mm-hmm. But there isn't like a Batman v Superman where it's like both sides have to team up to like get the villain, you know? So which I liked. I liked that they finally don't do that because like the army could have easily just like teamed up with them and tried to kill it, but they didn't. They just like were looking out for themselves.
Yeah, they were like, oh no, we got to watch out for the what was it? They were just mad that they were in that building. They weren't even really the army. Like they weren't
really concerned that they were even like
on. But
because I don't think only the one guy really knew what was in there.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're at already an hour.
Okay.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Because we were like, we'll just go as long as we feel like it. And then we spent half an hour, like 20 minutes talking about movies that we had seen already. So what would you give it?
Are we doing our regular
7? It's so like, I don't know. Giving like a number review is like so silly and it's it's so arbitrary. Honestly, but it's just fun to do it.
I'll say 7 out of 7.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever...
for sure.
But like, I really like this movie. I think it was so much better than I was expecting. It really helped that I went into this like somewhat blind, because it made it way more interesting and more funny. It was really funny. Like it's definitely like a James Gunn movie. It's less joke heavy like Guardians of the Galaxy, because I think that Guardians of the Galaxy is not an R-rated movie, obviously, but this is so much funnier because I think it's our sense of humor more so. Like it's very dry. Yeah. And
I did kind of roll my eyes in the beginning because he made some jokes about millennials, and I was just like, okay. Yeah,
but I think it was a self-referential joke, and I think again kind of set the tone for the humor in this movie. It was her sleeping and wanting to sleep in, and John Cena made a joke about it. Yeah. But yeah, I think 7 out of 7. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
I think I'm gonna go 6 out of 7. I guess.
Why not higher?
7?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was just because it's like one of these movies, so it's like it would be hard for me to just give it as like a perfect movie a 7 out of 7, because it is just like, it's so.
I agree with that.
Straight ahead.
If I was looking at it like that, but I think.
There really isn't.
I'm reviewing it from a 100% sense of enjoyment.
Sure. Yeah.
So that I think I'd agree with you if I was reviewing this as like a piece of media type thing.
One thing we didn't talk about was the music. I thought the music was great.
Really great.
Really, really good.
There's a scene where they're coming out of the van and they're showing up at the like castle.
Yeah.
And it's raining. And Hey by the Pixies is playing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't heard that song in so long, and like it was so sick the way that it was playing as they were like exiting. But there's a cool mix of like Spanish style like songs in this, as well as like classic.
Almost like there's like big band music in it too. Yeah.
But then you also get like very stereotypical James Gunn like deep cuts of like famous artists type.
Well, there was even a. Was it just the Decemberists, which
Yeah,
I guess
Decemberists
that's not
were
really
in
deep
this.
cut, but
The Fratellis were in this too, which is really weird. I actually ended up like looking it up. I wonder if I have it on my Spotify, but
I thought the music was great.
it was really great.
Surprise! I guess more or less his movies are becoming known for that kind of stuff
Yes,
too, where
exactly.
he's got a pretty.
I do like that he has this very, very specific niche that he's kind of carved himself out.
Just makes
which
a good
is, like,
soundtrack.
really cool. Johnny Cash, the Decemberists, Band of Silver, which I've never heard before. They're Fratellis. Kansas is in this. K-Flay. Obviously, there's a bunch of other ones, but I'm just kind of going through it. The Pixies rather. Yeah, so
pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
But yeah,
So I think we're gonna stick to our theme of like.
yeah. If you've
picking
made it this far, we should have
yeah.
done this in the beginning. I forgot.
We're gonna try and stick to like not just new releases. I think we've gotten some feedback that it's not always the most accessible.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and stick to like a theme or a person that connects kind of a couple movies. So I think we're gonna do James Gunn
To start with here.
and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah. Because I know that we both want to see the Green Knight.
David Lowery,
Yeah.
or Dev Patel,
Yeah,
maybe even, or
something like
there's like
that.
a bunch of big actors in that.
So
we
we're
could
going to
easily-
start with James Gunn with the Suicide Squad. So
Yeah.
we'll decide. Do we want to do the one that we had talked about?
Yeah, maybe we'll put a poll on Twitter or something.
Sure, yeah.
and
That's a
see
good
if
idea.
people want to pick
Or
for it. 'Cause,
Instagram,
like,
I guess.
we were thinking of like Dawn of the Dead was an option, but he wrote that instead of directed. We could do Guardians of the Galaxy. I think we're both leaning away from that one. But
Yeah, I kind of want to do something else.
something else.
Yeah.
Could be Super, which I think I've seen before with Rainn Wilson. And,
Oh, yeah. Right.
But yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Cool.
Try and keep it to a more consistent release.
Yeah.
I think
Well, I think we're doing
hoping
a
for.
Tuesday releases weekly now.
Yep. We'll try and stick to those.
Yeah. Do we have an email address?
Yep. twinspeakspod@gmail.com.
Right. And then we have Twitter.
Yeah. At twinspeaks, I think _. And then on Instagram, it's at twinspeakspod.
Cool.
But yeah. Hopefully you'll see more of us. you
Yeah.
know?
I think we'll try and post something on Instagram the day this goes up and try and see what people want to see.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.